And hello fellow tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today we are in the Caernarvon Tier 8 British heavy tank. And as you noticed earlier, I had a little video compilation with all the stats of the tank, as well as trying to present as much stats for you as possible in here as well, so that you can get acquainted with the tank if you're not familiar with it. But honestly, this tank is absolutely fantastic, guys. If you like tanks with good gun depression and solid turret armor, this tank is definitely for you. Some of the critical specs for this tank when it comes to its ability for combat, I would say would be the view range, which is at 400 meters, absolutely spectacular. Not to mention very accurate gun with really good penetration values. I mean, the only drawback to this tank would be, I guess, the speed. But even at 34 kilometers an hour, it's not really the slowest tank on the field. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the armor values of this tank, even though I've shown some of this stuff earlier, but I think we need to kind of quickly touch base on it again. So the weak spots for this tank, I guess, would be the bottom plate as usual, which can be penned with about 110 millimeters of penetration. The front plate is at about 140 millimeters of thickness, but if you angle it slightly, it becomes about 210, 215, which is not the greatest. I guess tier 8s with premium shells and some with standard shells will be able to penetrate the top plate. The turret is very well armored with token values of 250 millimeters plus, with manlet at 270, which is quite amazing. Now if you're looking down at this tank, you can pen the roof of the turret, which is only at about 90 millimeters of armor on the top. However, if you face it frontally on the same level, that armor becomes quite hard to pen, which becomes basically an out of bounds angle for 240 millimeter and lower penetration guns. So facing this tank from the front, I would suggest shooting bottom plate, or if not, you can load premium shells and penetrate the top plate. And another gaping weak spot would be the cupola, although it's so small and hard to hit, almost impossible if you try to aim at it from a distance. But if you face hugging it, I guess it's an option, and the cupola thickness is only at about 90 millimeters in certain places. Anyway, I think that's enough when it comes to tank stats. Let's jump into the gameplay and see how this tank performs in the battle. Okay, so I have two games for you today. The first game is on map Caen, and on this map, usually the fighting happens along the 6th lane, A6 area, D6 area, somewhere around there. Now, if you don't know, many of your tanks usually are gonna go up into those areas to brawl or battle. But there are nice sniping positions on this side of the map to support your tanks that go into those areas. So in this game, basically what I mostly did was sniping, believe it or not. And this gun is, when it comes to sniping, even though accuracy is not bad, I've noticed that I was missing a lot of shots, and in certain cases it was bounces, but in many cases it was just pure misses. So I'm really surprised about that. I thought this gun would perform a lot better from distance, but it seems like it doesn't. So yeah, this game is gonna showcase that. Now we got ourselves in a nice position here, and that's what I was telling you guys. Here is a really nice sniping position where you can basically have shots all across the field. Now in some cases, if there are too many TDs in the game, there are too many players that sit in this location, what I usually do is try not to sit and snipe. But if there is not many tanks that stays behind to snipe, I will do that, because there's gotta be support for these tanks that are up there from this side of the field. And as you notice here already, one of our tanks is being pushed at A5 right now, and that's where all the opposition is going to spill into the open field. And once they spill in the open field, I'm gonna have shots left and right, pretty much everywhere. I'm gonna try to hit this T10 here, and this shot I think bounces. So we're gonna try this again. Unfortunately, T10 has very trolled armor. So even if you try to hit it in a top plate, bunch of space armor all the way around. So I switched to APCR rounds here. I don't want to be bouncing shells. I don't know what happened to that one, whether it missed or whether it hit. We're gonna try this again, and again we bounce that shell. One thing I didn't mention is that the crew in this tank on Zippy's account is not very good. We have only 3 skills and perks with this crew. The snake bite skill that came with the snake bite. Brothers in arms, and currently training repairs. So I don't even have 6th sense on this tank. But it doesn't matter, it's a brawler, so you expect it to go into more areas where you can brawl. And it's a good sniper too, except it misses too many shots for me. Anyway, we get ourselves in a nice position here. We track this T10. That was exactly the idea here. And with this tank, you can track people pretty good. As you can see, my reload on this is absolutely fantastic. Currently sitting at 6.6 seconds with gun rammer. As far as setup for this tank, I currently carry gun rammer, enhanced gun laying drive, and ventilation. Now here that was completely unintentional. I didn't want to block this guy's shot, and yeah, I said I'm sorry. You know, I thought he had enough room in there to fire that off, but I guess he didn't, and I run into a shell. Now this is a critical kill over here. I put a shell into this RU. He's gonna try to round us both again here. We're gonna manually aim in 3rd person. Can we take him out? Yes, we take him out. We can't allow this guy to run around in circles, go behind us, and put shots into us. It just wouldn't be very good if we couldn't take him out that quickly. Now, as you noticed, the opposition team started pushing hard through that 6th lane actually, and since they won area A5, A6, you know, now they're kind of fighting our tanks in area D5. So this is where I'm going to try to support as much as possible, trying to hit this object 257 in a top plate. At this angle that he presents, I should be able to penetrate it. Some shots hit, some shots miss, like this one. This one I guess hits his track, but I was aiming for the top plate. Now from this distance, it's still extremely small target to hit. Now here we see the mutant side of the turret. We should be able to penetrate that. We put 1 shell into him. We're gonna try to put another shell into his turret. This time it bounces. We change our focus to 257, but he disappears, so we're gonna try to hit mutant again. Now from this angle I should be able to hit his side skirt, but for whatever reason that bounces as well. So now we're gonna focus this M103 and we draw a critical. As you see, we're either bouncing or missing shots. It's just crazy. Finally we hit his turret there, and he turns nicely for us, so we're gonna be able to hit him again right over there. And we track him at the same time, so we're gonna try to go for the tracking shot here. And again, I don't know what happens to this shell. It just kind of goes astray. I don't know what is going on. So we're gonna try to hit him again. We managed to damage him again. As you can see, I'm farming from this position pretty much. And turret shot bounces as well. So here I'm spotted and targeted, so I'm dropping down. But I'm not gonna leave this position. We're gonna try to keep on firing from here, because we have so many shots. And that's why I mentioned to you guys that this position is so important. If you don't have any tanks on this side of the map, when your team is pushing the 6th lane, you need to have someone down here to provide firepower. So that's what I decided to do, and that's what I'm doing, and that's where I'm gonna get pretty much all my shots of damage from this location. Anyway, you see this object cruising around. We're gonna put 2 shells into his behind. We managed to set him on fire, and we leave him with 1 HP left. I guess he had a fire extinguisher, so he managed to smother that. But now we have no more shots, and looks like my team has melted, absolutely melted. Only me and this tank destroyer here, and that heavy tank remains. So we're gonna try to go and help him right now. I see shots on this object 257. We're gonna try to pull the shell into him, but it's a very tough shot, and this guy with so much spaced armor is gonna be extremely difficult to hit him. We're gonna try this again, see if we can hit him in a track. Unfortunately, that shell goes somewhere. But all of a sudden, M103 decides to present his ass to us. So I'm like, okay, thank you. I'll take you out of the game. And we'll progress further. Now, still the idea here is to help this guy over there. But at the same time, I noticed that there's a light tank spotted on my right hand side, and this is a critical hit again. I need to kill him. Yes, we managed to kill him, and we're gonna move forward. Luckily, our friendly managed to dispatch of object 257. So all of a sudden I notice I'm targeted, so I'm spotted by something that's over here. I'm assuming that there's a medium tank remaining in the game. There it is, Wheezy 120. I knew he was coming on this side of the field with a light tank. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to push him as much as possible. I was thinking at this point in time that he's just gonna run off, but he's actually gonna set up a defensive position. He's gonna try to fight us, but currently we have a nice spread. We have a heavy tank that's kind of cruising through the middle. I'm gonna cruise through area 3 line, and then a tank destroyer is on the right. So it looks like our Wheezy, the Wheezy is engaging our heavy tank, and he does manage to take him out. So all of a sudden it became 1v2 game, but I got plenty of health left, so I don't really care if he puts a shell into me. I think I would have enough HP to get him out of the game. The only thing that could happen that's unfortunate with his big gun if he can set me on fire, but I still have my automatic fire extinguisher. So I'm gonna try to come down here, but unfortunately he gets taken out by our tank destroyer, and that concludes the game. So as you can see, we managed to basically do all of our damage from a single position in this game. And again, if you get yourself in a nice position, if you know positions on the map where you can actually sit and anticipate the enemy coming down and get your shots in, that's what you probably should be doing. So we managed to get ace tanker in this game. We killed 5 tanks, managed to put up 4.6k damage, mostly just damage, no assisted damage. We destroyed 5 tanks. It would have been 6 if tank destroyer left us that wheezy, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. But I won't complain. It's a fantastic game. We managed to put up over 1700 base XP. We fired 33 shots. We had 26 direct hits and only 19 penetration, so efficiency not the greatest, but because of long distance shots, that's what happened here. Anyway, let's jump into the second game that I have for you guys now, and the second game is on map El Haluf, which is one of the oldest maps in this game, believe it or not. We are a top tier in this matchup. Actually, the matchup is very heavy in tier 8s, only 1 tier 7 per site, and I was totally enjoying this +1 -1 matchmaking, guys. I thought it was fantastic for game balancing too. And in my next video I'm gonna talk a little bit about that and how it balances out certain tiers, especially tier 6 and tier 8. Actually, tier 8 is probably overbalanced at this point in time because there's so much armor at tier 8, and that armor is not facing tier 10s anymore. But we'll touch on this in the next video. At this point, let's concentrate on this game. So as anybody knows, when it comes to El Haluf, the most important area of the map is area C2, A1, that corner, B2, A1 corner. That's where really heavily armored vehicles go, medium tanks go, where I'm gonna go to, into the position where there's good spot where you can use your gun depression there. But cruising around here, I noticed this guy sitting in the middle of the map. So I have shots across from this location here, so we're gonna try to put at least 1 shell into him. He should be taken out fairly quickly. There he goes. Yeah, that's that location there. I know light tanks go into there to spot, and some tank destroyers sit on top of the hills, try to snipe, but really that area there doesn't win you game. I mean, in certain cases maybe it does if the opposition sneaks through to the flag, but from where I am now, I can easily turn around and go back and defend the base. So it's not really a big problem, even if they win the other side. So that's why I say this position here is the most critical and the most important. So this is the location I was talking about. I can get up here and use my 10 degrees of gun depression to put some shells into this guy. This guy overextended a little bit, so we put a shell into his weak spot, right in the middle of the top plate there, which is the driver's hatch. If you don't know, IS-6s, that's exactly where you should be putting your shells. Now another IS-6 here. It's really surprising because lately I don't see any IS-6s in the game. That tank is basically non-existent on the battlefield because of all the other OP tanks that came into the game at tier 8, like a Defender, like a Patriot for instance. Anyway, this guy, I don't know what he's doing, so we're just gonna feast on him. We're gonna wait until he passes that wreck and we're gonna put a shell into him and we set him on fire. We're just checking, but we're gonna let him burn. I think he's gonna die anyway, so we're gonna change our attention to this IS-6 here. Unfortunately, we hit the gun barrel of the 110 and we don't pen the IS-6, so we hit 110 instead. Here IS-6 is looking at us, so we decided to repair and get back. I'm not gonna let him shoot at me at this point in time. I don't want to lose any HP yet. It's too early in the game and the game is fairly tight. So yeah, I was trying to bait his shot there and I don't know, he was really impatient and shot his shell. Now here, he doesn't have a gun depression. I was actually trying to track him, but that didn't come off. But we put the damaging hit instead. And we're gonna come up here and take him out of the game, possibly shortly. Here we track him. Yeah, he's in the dead water. I mean, if you're an IS-6, you never skyline yourself like this. You have no gun depression. There's not much you can do. Yeah, you should be fighting on low ground when you're an IS-6. Now this guy, I don't know what he does. I was trying to pass by and he decided to back up. I think he was turning around to defend the base, and as you can see, Charioteer is going back. Normally I would go back to defend the base, but I see the guys are turning around and going to defend, so I decided to just push forward instead. So we're gonna come around the corner here. This ISM is facing us. I was thinking he was gonna hit us, but he decided to shoot somebody else instead. So we put a second shell. We tried to put a second shell into him, but he got taken out unfortunately before I do. So we're gonna push forward over here. So as you can see, just like that, we're sitting at about almost 3,300 damage, which is quite good, and still the game is relatively close, so we should be able to get some more. Now, at this point in time, I decided to go on the inside. And when the opposition team pushes the other side of the map, they usually end up on our side, and at this point there's usually no one in the middle. And this is probably a much safer approach in order to, you know, to avoid facing this IS-3 frontally. That's why I decided to go this way. At the same time, when I hack this hill on my right hand side, it should protect me from artillery, I'm hoping, depending where artillery sits, and artillery is gonna be a pain in the ass in this game, and you'll see why later on. But anyway, I'm gonna poke out here. We're gonna try to put a shell into this IS-3. We do, and he misses his shot, so we're gonna scoot over once again. We're gonna try to track him here, I think. Yes, we did manage to track him, but he fixes it quickly. And something's shooting me from behind at this point in time, so I'm just gonna push forward, make sure I get away from these guys that are shooting at me right there. So we're gonna turn around and we're gonna see if we can put any shells into these guys. Actually, no, I was thinking about that, but then my second thought was, okay, the game is really close. Artillery is so important on this map. I was thinking to get artillery out of the game, but then I realized I'm not the fastest thing on this map, so if I go and try to get artillery, the only friendlies that I have left might die and I won't be there to help them. So I was worried that they were gonna get taken out, so I decided to engage here. And this shot, actually, it turns out to be so important, and I missed that shot. It would have been such an important shot. If I could have hit that shot, the game could have turned out completely differently. But anyway, I don't want to spoil it yet. Let's just keep going here. So now I'm worried that my medium tank is going to get taken out. And unfortunately, he does get taken out. So it's me versus 4 tanks at this point in time. So this is a critical shot. I really had to take out this light tank. If I didn't take him out, the game would have probably been over. But because I managed to take him out, now I'm against Artie versus 2 heavy tanks. Now this is still winnable. Now Artie shoots and barely misses me. I was so lucky there. Doesn't hit me. Now at this point I was thinking, if I can get myself in a good defensive position away from Artie. Now I don't know where Artie is. I saw the shell drop, but I didn't know from where. Normally Artie sits at A0 or somewhere at C. what is it, C0, somewhere around there. So I decided to drop down to the lower ground, because if I did do that, the arties won't be able to hit me. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, this Gornish comes through here. If he didn't come through here, the situation would have been so much different. So I missed my first shell because I was kind of spooked. Here I was actually thinking about going around him, but then I'm like, you know what, he's just one hit away, let me just finish him off. So I put him out of his misery. But at this point in time, I tunnel vision. I went after the Caernarvon, but I didn't realize that Artie was spotted, and he's sitting right behind me. So he hits me in my back, he breaks my engine, and you know, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna turn around and hit him, but at the same time Caernarvon gets spotted, and I'm like, okay, I can't, I have no time to do this. So I tracked him here quickly. I was hoping he misses his shell. Yes, he tracks me, so all I have to do is hit his bottom plate, but unfortunately Artie hits me from behind again and takes me out. It was close. It was so close, and that reload on that Artie was so fast. It seemed like I thought I had enough time to do something there, but unfortunately the way things turned out, I don't think I could have done anything about it. Maybe if I realized earlier that Artie was behind me. That was the main thing. I didn't realize soon enough. I could have turned around, maybe hit him, maybe dropped down or something. I don't know. I should have probably dropped down around the Gornish and shoot him in the ass. That way Artie wouldn't have any shots at me, but it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. I put up fantastic score. We're talking about 5,000 damage. 5,000 damage in the Caernarvon. Fantastic result, guys. We put up only 1187 base XP, which is strange. Actually really strange, because for 1187 base XP I shouldn't have gotten an ace tanker. But I digress. I'll take the ace tanker any day. We fired 25 shells, we had 20 direct hits with 17 penetrations for a total of 5,091 damage. Didn't have any assisted damage because we mostly did the brawling. But yeah, if I could have pulled this game off, it would have been a hell of a carry. But lately, unfortunately, luck is not on my side. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Who knows, you might see more Caernarvon replay on this channel, because I really like this deck. I think I'm gonna play it a bit more. And since Zippy asked me to help him with the machine grind, then I pretty much ended up playing this tank all the time. This and the Conqueror. But yeah, since this tank got a buff a while ago, now it's so much playable. And if matchmaking remains at +1, -1, this tank is going to be fantastic to play, because it won't face tier 10s. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out Kongai72 and Garadingi. That's it for today. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, checking out.